After conducting research into all different types of album covers, I now need to start exploring my own ideas for an album cover. In order to simplify this process, I will divide it into different sections before brainstorming ideas for all of these sections respectively. Firstly, the main thing which I need to decide is who should appear on the front cover of the album. Whilst the identity of the people is at this point irrelevant, I do still need to decide whether it will be people who appear on my cover or whether I will opt for an image of a landscape or a particular object to be the centre of my album cover. After conducting research, I have gained a much better understanding of what works well and what ideas may be less successful, and therefore feel that I will be able to produce some legitimate ideas which I could then use for my final ancillary task. One idea which I have is to completely disregard the idea of having anyone in my album cover image, and instead choose to plan and take a photograph of a unique or iconic landscape or object. I feel that certain backdrops and landscapes could adhere to the indie and quite urban theme of my fictional artist. Moreover, I believe that landscapes can also stand out more to an audience. For example, the cover for Oasis's What's the Story Morning Glory, despite featuring people, focuses primarily on the location and backdrop of the image. Similarly, however, I do understand that a vast majority of album covers feature people as the prime focus. For example, the cover image for Nirvana's Nevermind has been made famous solely as a result of the baby who is the prime feature within the shot. Similarly, another aspect which I need to decide upon will be the clothing and costume of the people who may appear in it. This, however, is a much wider and more varied aspect of the planning process, as there is a much wider spectrum of costumes which, from my research, I have learned could work quite well. For example, in MGMT's Oracular Spectacular, the two members of the band are pictured dressed in very obscure clothing. They are wearing feathery and floral clothing and are pictured on a beach. In contrast, in Madness's One Step Beyond, all 5 members of the band can be seen in more casual clothing, with some wearing shirts and some wearing colourful jackets. The contrast between these two album covers, in terms of costume and clothing, reiterates how all different types of costumes and style of clothing can be successful and work well as an album cover image. Finally, I also need to decide who will be in my album cover, presuming it will feature at least one person. Simply due to ease, I will use one of my friends in my album cover if I do choose to have people in it.